Good morning. Welcome to the first nuts and bolts of 2024 here at Longleaf Pines Realtor Association. I'm glad you guys were all able to make it today. We've got a pretty good, exciting lineup for our 2024 year, so you'll want to definitely go on the site and make notes of the dates of our nuts and bolts, because we've got some good things coming this year. Today, we're going to join a couple realtors just sitting around chatting as to why we have to pay these dues. Dues are due at the end of the month, and a lot of people are like, why are we paying these dues?
Yes. So I was reading about this morning. So every 3 months, I'm paying $180, Candy. Okay. Now it's January and I have to pay another $660. Why is that?
Well, you know, the $180 is quarterly, and that's to the NLS. That's completely different than the $660. Completely different.
So what's being done? So the $660, what does Longleaf Pines do with the $660?
Well, the $660 that you pay to Longleaf Pines actually goes to a couple other people too. Longleaf Pines only keeps $224 of that money. Then they pay the state association $210, and then $201 goes to the National Association of Realtors. And then the last $25 that's on our bill, that's actually a voluntary contribution to RPAC.
So let's break it down. So the $201 that's going to the NAR, what is that doing for me and my business?
Well, this year, the 156 for our dues and the 45 for the special assessment for the NAR consumer advertising campaign. So.
Oh yeah, that's the R campaign, isn't it? That's the We Are, and it's got the R on it.
Oh, that you see on TV. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
So NAR also created the Code of Ethics way back in 1913, and it continues to revise and update using the golden rule as the theme. Can you imagine our industry if we didn't have a Code of Ethics?
True. Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, the NAR provides us with so much research. They take the information that's available to the realtors and the public. They provide us with national median home prices, how many houses sell each month nationally, to give us great information.
Yeah, they also profile agents. You know, what tools do agents use for their job? 79% of realtors nowadays use e-signature on a regular basis. And then 92% of us are using Facebook as a source of business. But that's all data that the National Association of Realtors compiles for us.
Yeah, the NAR is the largest professional trade organization in the US and strives to protect affordable housing, which is a must in our profession. Not to mention closely working with the Office of Fair Housing, which is an important.
Absolutely. But what about all the kinds of educational opportunities that they give us besides the Code of Ethics? They offer the commitment to excellence, which focuses on the realtor's commitment to ethics, advocacy, data privacy, customer service. In addition, there's all kinds of special designations that you can get through the National Association of Realtors. You can get your ABR, which is your accredited buyer's representation, ALC, accredited land consultant, CCIM, which is the certified commercial investment member, CPM, which is a certified property manager, CRB, certified real estate brokerage, CRS. And it doesn't mean you can't remember anything. It is the certified residential specialist.
Oh my goodness. So all these books and resources make our jobs easier, and not to mention it helps separate the professionals from those who just dabble in real estate.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are a lot of people out there, I'm just gonna do real estate.
Yeah.
It makes
I'll try it.
It's easy.
Yeah.
It's easy. Yeah.
And just talk about some of the discounts that we get. A lot of people don't understand that, hey, we're realtors, we're professionals, we get discounts too, such as Victor Insurance Managers, LLC, with discounts on E&O. E&O insurance is very important, so if you don't have it, you should get it. You can get a discount on rental cars with Avis, Budget, Hertz, all kinds of places. Discounts on Dell, FedEx, DocuSign, because we're going to that digital age, and all kinds of things. NAR website is a great source to find out some of those discounts that you can use.
And that's true, I've used it because I rented a car last year and I went in and used the code for Avis and I did get a good discount.
Nice.
And I have looked at pursuing some of the designations on their website, so I never made the link, I never linked the two together.
Mm.
So I have been using it without realizing.
That's something
That's
they
something
give
that's
us,
tied
yeah.
to the services.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's great, so I understand what NAR is doing. So what about the state and local dues component that I'm paying? What am I getting for that?
Fair question, but with the $210 that goes to the state, it actually enhances what the National Association already does for us.
Oh, so tell me what else, so what does that mean then?
So when you write an offer, what do you use?
Oh, I use the 2T. So they're standardizing the forms that we're using?
These forms are made available to us by the North Carolina Association of Realtors, not just the 2T, the OTP, but all of our forms that we use, that comes from our North Carolina Association of Realtors.
Okay, I get it. So that way we're having standardized forms so that, well, I'm dealing with a realtor from another association, I understand the contract because it's the same contract.
Could you imagine if we all wrote our own forms?
Yeah,
Oh, my
yeah,
goodness.
I wouldn't know what to, how to,
Yeah.
and everybody's got their own form, so, okay, I get that, excellent.
Exactly. So just imagine everybody's out there writing their own forms and they get themselves into some trouble. You probably need a resource where you can call somebody and get some help without all the fees and all the judgment, right? So I have used the NC Realtor hotline. I have. And what happened was they gave me good answers. They didn't tell me exactly what to do. They didn't give me the advice that my attorney would, but they set me in the right direction. A lawyer could cost you about $300 an hour. A portion of that, you'll never see anything meaningful. But this hotline can save us a ton of money, somewhere around $2.1 million in fees in 23.
Wow, yeah, it's all coming together. I've used it too. It's like, I never realized how much I was utilizing the services that are out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and in addition to the legal hotline, they have an online legal Q&A library with topics from everything from advertising to about your forms. I mean, if you have a legal question, you probably can go on the North Carolina Association of Realtors website, Google, inquire what that question is, and I guarantee there's probably a legal form there with an answer for it. It's an excellent tool that not only can realtors use, but firms can use for their training meetings, their sales meetings.
Okay, so got my juices flowing for the national and state. So can we shift to the local, because I'm paying that $180 to Longleaf Pine every quarter, and then now I gotta pay the annual dues. But, so what else are they doing besides MLS? Because every time I get an email saying there's an event coming on, I'm now having to pay for those events. And typically in the past, those luncheons were free as part of our dues. So what are we getting there from a local standpoint?
What are we getting from that standpoint? So it's when you have gone from the COVID where we were doing our luncheons every month, right? We had to change the way we conduct business. So what the association, they leaned forward and they said, hey, we're gonna go quarterly, which makes it a lot better for all of us to get together. We put out some significant information and events. And then on top of that, we have over 200 educational opportunities provided by the wonderful people at our association. We have trainers that are willing to train. We have guest speakers that are willing to bring their knowledge and help us grow our association and our businesses.
That's true. Because I do take some of the online courses.
Yeah, and then last year they did the Leadership Academy. It was the very first year that they did that. They had, I think, 40-some people apply and 22 actually graduate. And that was offered to no cost to our members. Other leadership academies can be over $1,500.
So when we start doing those things, that only helps us even more. But what about when you're out there on your own and you need to phone a friend? You can always call the association and get a friendly voice who's willing to help you, whether it's Emily, Zane, Jane, everybody at the association is here to help you. The gatekeepers are not here to hurt anyone, they're here to help us. and make our lives much easier and better. So shout out to the association for that.
Oh, yeah, they're amazing. You mentioned Zan, I heard you say that. Do you know people actually pay for him to come and speak? He speaks all over the nation, and here we are like, hey, Zan, I got a question, like, it's no big deal. We just pick up the phone and call him. Like, pretty cool. So, and then what about all that our association gives back to the community? We do all kinds of stuff. We have the Alms House in Hope Mills that our members, they give their time, but the association is always supporting that. We just did a huge Toys for Tots. We have a couple of people that just had strong on it. They do amazing. Our PR team takes that on. We do kids piece, school supply drives. There's so many nonprofit organizations that they actually send requests, and then the board meeting will meet and determine if they want to support that nonprofit, but we give back to so many different nonprofit groups. What about, and then the unity? I mean, look at us. I mean, we wouldn't know each other if it wasn't for our association. It just brings us together during social events, different committees that we can sit on. I mean, like I said, we wouldn't probably know each other unless we did a deal with each other. And then a lot of times you do the deal and then you're done. But I mean, I text you the other day and it was like, hey, it's Candy. And it's just a relationship that we get solely by being part of our association.
Yeah, and the opportunity for the face-to-face, like the training sessions. I've been in real estate over 7 years, but I still take advantage of the training program.
yeah.
As a refresher, you know, I pick up tidbits here and there, like, I didn't realize that. And I get to meet great people, other realtors, you know? Because like I say, we do deals and I text you, sometimes I don't even physically talk to you. I don't even know what your voice is, you know?
Yeah.
And then I meet you at a lunch, oh my God, I just did a deal with you. I'll say, 222 Main Street, right? Yeah.
And isn't it better to do a deal with somebody you kind of have developed in a relationship with?
Yeah.
Because you learn about that person and it's always easier to talk with a person that you developed a relationship with. Well, that's all because of our association giving us the opportunity to have those relationships.
Yeah, the networking capabilities is wonderful.
It is definitely amazing. I'll tell you, one of the deals that I've done with one of my first deals here, that agent and I, we're still friends today. We talk on a very consistent basis. We've become friends. We've met each other's families, and that would not have happened if it would not have been with this connection. But that allows us to just kind of continue to grow and see things grow around us. So let's talk about what our association is also a part of with the huge part of the Carolina Core. You know, I got an invite to the event in Sanford from that same agent, said, hey, have you seen this? Come check this out. And the Carolina Core is a 120-mile stretch of land in western Winston-Salem of Fayetteville. So what does that mean? It's connecting communities. It's allowing us to grow our businesses, touch other communities, and help other people. So we're bringing more companies to our area, to our footprint, like Amazon, Publix, Pfizer, FedEx, and much more. That's going to require more housing for people.
Which is a good thing.
Exactly. And the fact that the association is so involved in being a leader in bringing that in, it teaches us and shows us what the needs are, what the housing assessment needs are going to do. We're going to do a housing assessment need, so we know how to best serve our community. And without the association, I don't think we would be able to do that. We wouldn't be able to do something, tackle something that big.
Yeah, so when we start talking about things of that nature that are huge projects, well, let's talk about some things that people may not even know about. Have you registered for Forewarn?
Forewarn, what's Forewarn?
Forewarn is a great tool our association gives to us, our members. Before you go out and meet a client, which is very, very important that you don't know, you can check on them, see who they are. You can verify their identity, see if they have a criminal record and more. It really can put you at ease having a better idea of who you're meeting, especially with what's happening nowadays. You know, if you didn't know, we just lost a realtor out in the Raleigh area. And that was very traumatic. I kind of stopped what I was doing and I was like, wow. So realtor safety needs to be important, and this one is definitely speaks to our heart.
So that it's a tool for the phone, it's an app?
I believe it is an app.
Yep, you can do it as an app, you can do it, you can just put in like, So the client, you obviously get their phone number, you
Yes.
can put their phone number in there, or their name, and it'll come up and it'll run a little search on them.
Oh,
And
Yeah.
I worked with a girl who did it. She had gotten a call in and said, hey, I wanna see this house in an hour. And so she put it in there and she called back and said, not today. Because, I mean, the person just had a lot of questionable things on their thing and she just did not feel right running out there. So that's a huge
Oh,
thing right there.
to get that safeties first, because as a realtor, we're going out by ourselves usually. I'm using our tag team.
Yeah, exactly. We go out by ourselves and how many times do you get that client and we're taught, don't go running as soon as the phone rings. But we're all out to make a sale, so you think, you know, you've got somebody wanting to buy a house, you're going, and especially if they call like on your listing or something like that. So yeah, no, forewarn's excellent.
So that'd have been good, because I had this older deal, but I've had a listing and I had received offers and I accepted an offer from an individual, from another realtor, submitted it. And then we couldn't collect due diligence, so it went bye-bye and then went back on the market, and all of a sudden the name popped up again. I'm like, this name looks familiar, but I'm like, different realtor, wasn't a common name. That'd been a great tool to have, so I can plug
To
that
see
in
if
to
maybe that
that.
person was known to try and
Right.
do some fraudulent activity.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So I have to make that as a note, forewarn, and then forewarn is free, is it free, it's free?
Yep, just log on, you can sign up for
Okay,
it. Mhm.
okay, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, so since we're talking about free stuff, let's talk about this $25 for ARPA. Why isn't that free? Is that a voluntary money that gets put on our bill? What happens with that?
RPAC, I'm all about RPAC. I don't know if you, Denise, are you a contributor with RPAC? Do you contribute RPAC? It is a great tool and stuff, and I just completely believe in it, and I didn't. When I became into real estate, I was just like everybody, I'm like, I don't want my money, it's just somebody else want my money. And then I'm like, oh, and then I do my $25 donation, like, who look at me, I didn't complain, I paid it. But then I started realizing that major contributors do over $1,000 a year, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, wow.
Why are they doing this? Well, it's just a small cost to find out what they do for us. I mean, they lobby against things that could really hurt, and not just hurt, but almost shut down our profession and the way we do business. I don't know if you guys have heard, they wanted to tax our commissions at the table. So like, so everybody's in a different tax bracket, but they want to set our tax bracket. They've lobbied against that. They've lobbied during COVID. Some states, realtors were just shut down. They couldn't do anything. Well, they lobbied to keep us as essential personnel.
I remember that.
Yeah, a few years back, one of the counties here, Hope County, was gonna close the courthouse down, the whole, between, Christmas and New Year's, just close it all down all week. Well, what happens? Everybody bought a house, they couldn't record. So they actually, RPAC does things from the national level all the way down to the local level. They went down and lobbied with Hope County basically and said, hey, we need the Register of Deeds office open because we need to do recordings. And they managed to keep it open for us, so people were able to record if they bought in Hope County. So that was a huge plus there.
Well, that's wonderful. You never know behind the scene what's all's going on, what they're lobbying for us. You don't realize that.
Yeah, there's opportunities, again, going back to what our association does for us, there's opportunities to learn that. They have like legislative day. So one of the things they have you meet, like they have a local one, I think it's just coming up. I don't live in Fayetteville City, so I try and keep up on it because of my profession, but I'm more about what's going on in the Hope County area. But they have it where you can meet the candidates, so you can know that the candidates are local, and realtor friendly. Then they have like a day that you can go to Raleigh with them and actually meet the candidates up in Raleigh or the actual people sitting in office in Raleigh. So they do a lot of things to make sure that the people that are going in office are realtor friendly.
And I think locally, we have a realtor on the Fayetteville City Council.
I think we do,
We do.
we do.
We
Yeah,
do.
we have a friend on city council.
Mhm. Yeah, and very much, that's very important. So that $25 is really nothing when you think of what they're doing for us, They do a lot.
Yeah, so if you break it down and think about all the things that are happening between a national, state, and local level, so we're getting our money's worth. We're getting the training, the education, all the support, the tools that help us in our profession.
Yeah.
That's a good way to think about it.
They really do. I mean, it's just, yes, it's a big chunk of change that you pay at the beginning of the year, right after Christmas and right before tax time and stuff. It kind of slides its way right in there. But it's definitely, it is well worth it. It keeps our profession a profession.
Yeah.
I feel without all the different associations that we would have something more like a free-for-all.
Oh, no.
And I think that would just hurt our industry so much without all of these groups.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be in the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, no.
No, no.
Yeah,
No, I don't wanna go back to having contracts written on a napkin, you know? I don't wanna have to interpret that, no laws about, due diligence money. Could you imagine the arguments
my
we would
goodness.
have if that
Yeah.
wasn't written and
Mhm.
stuff?
Mhm.
Yeah, so there's just everything we do day to day, they really do add a lot of value to it.
And as a business, it is an expense, it is as a top line expense, we get to write off at the end of the year. So
Absolutely.
defer our taxes, so you have that income, you gotta have some expenses to defer taxes,
If
so.
you are a true business owner, which every one of us are, then you need to expect to have some expenses, and this is just an operating expense to do your job. I guarantee you, doctors, lawyers, cosmetologists, everyone has some expense and stuff, and most trades have some sort of
Right.
organization that you're part of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I wanna get a quick plug, cause I looked at my email, yesterday, this morning, so for the association, free CE is being offered.
Mhm.
It sure is.
So it's class size limited, so look at your
And that's
email.
one of the things when you asked about the money that they do and how they took away our luncheons and stuff. Well, that was one of the things that our board met about. And they said, hey, we still want to give back to our members.
Mhm.
So how can we give back? So they went ahead and they're offering free CE.
Mhm.
So if you take the free CE, let's just say it's a $50 average class. Well, that lunch that you ate was probably not worth $50. That CE is actually giving you more money for your dollar there.
And it
So,
keeps
yeah.
you in business.
Exactly, it's
Yeah.
something you have
We
to
have
do.
to do, we have to
You
do.
have
Have to do it. Yeah.
So,
You can get your gen up and your elective for free,
mhm.
so.
Yeah, so that's, I think it's like $110 if you sign up at most
Right.
places for
Yeah.
both of them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a plus, the free CE.
Mhm.
And like even our Christmas party, yes, we had to pay, but that was an amazing event
It
that we
was.
had that,
It
we had music and the room was decorated, the food. So anything like that, I think it does cost money,
Mhm.
It does.
but I just look like you, I wanna do some of those, accreditations, I wanna add a few
Yes,
of
for
those behind
sure.
my name and stuff, and all of that's just something that's is done and written by the association, so everybody's learning the same thing.
Sure.
Again, it keeps us from being the wild, wild west.
Right, exactly.
Man, that's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's a lot. And when you start looking at it, we do get our money's worth. We get a lot for our money.
Mhm.
You know what I think the issue is? And I'm just gonna say it. I just think that realtors don't know what we have our hands on. They
Absolutely,
just don't know.
I agree,
So-
I agree.
If you wanna really know what your association has for you, just come by and take a look.
Mhm.
Pick up the phone,
Mhm.
ask somebody, check the website. You'll find that there's something for everybody,
Mhm.
even your volunteer time, and your association will definitely give you what you're looking for. There's always something that you can use, you just have to use it. You
Exactly.
just have to use it.
And I'm gonna do a plug about get involved, because that's, you learn a lot when you get involved and you really see the value of what we
Right.
have here. If you get involved, whether it be at the national level or the local level.
Yeah.
Definitely get involved.
And we're on the education committee, and I like the fact we're participating in this session as well as, our last month's meeting, we asked, what kind of training do we think folks need?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So if you need some kind of training, you think there's like lacking in an area, just call the education committee, and we're
That's it.
trying to make it happen for you.
Trying to make it happen. I said in the beginning, we have some great nuts and bolts coming up. We're trying to do some stuff for the commercial individuals, and property management and all of that.
Yeah.
So.
And then next month, we have a state of real estate market, where we get a nice robust picture of what's going on in the US as well as the local level, so that when you're having those listing agreements or having those buyer conversations, you can talk
Oh,
about
yeah.
what's going on in the market,
Yeah. And
Yes, because people want to know how's the market,
And next, you will need to register for it next month for sure. It is going to be at the Crown, so we will have.
At free lunch.
At free lunch.
Free lunch.
Free lunch.
So it will be at the Crown next month, so make sure you register for that, because that's always amazing information. And right now, after we just went through a year where we went from 3% interest rate to 8% interest rates and all in between,
Mhm.
it's definitely, we get that from our clients of what's gonna happen in the future. What, you know, what should we expect? Is now a
Yeah.
good time to buy?
Yeah.
And I think that luncheon next month is gonna give us those answers. And
Mhm.
again, that's something brought on by our association to give us those answers to better answer our clients. So.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure our association probably offers more local level than some of the other associations throughout the state probably.
Oh, by far,
Yeah.
by far.
We have a time.
By
Some
far.
good stuff.
We definitely are amazing. I think I'm pretty happy to be part of our association.
Absolutely.
I love them
Hands
people
down.
up front there, so it's so helpful. So I hope we answered some of your questions here before we sign off. Does anybody have any other questions that they'd like to throw out that maybe we didn't answer?
Well, this is being recorded too, right?
Yes.
And it's gonna be out there for everyone to have access to, so if you know someone who who didn't have time to participate, listen, then go and look at get the recording,
Shout out to
share it with their
those-
office.
to the background folks that make this stuff happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Believe me, it makes our job so much easier, so
Mhm.
much better, and a lot more fun too.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Huge shout out,
Mhm.
shout out. So one more time, anybody have any questions, comments? Did we answer your questions?
Yes, you did.
All
I mean, I
right.
didn't realize,
I
I
think
didn't
so,
put
too.
everything together, so I'm gonna go the 4-1, I'm gonna get 4-1 for sure, and, you know, I'm great, I'm good.
Mhm.
Sounds good. We'll hold each other accountable to get
Yes.
some of those accreditations this year.
Yes.
I registered for my free CE in March already.
I did, I'm doing my
Oh.
pickup, I got my pickup, I registered
Yep.
for that, so yeah. So, that's awesome. Let's see here, we got one person popped up here. Oh, you are welcome, Jean. Thank you for all that you do. All right, guys, well then we are gonna sign off. We hope everyone has whoop, maybe not. Hold on, I'm trying to keep up with Q&A here. Oh. That was still Jean. Okay, there we go. All right, you guys have an amazing week and we will see you next month at the Crown. Thanks, guys.
See you at the crowd.
Bye.